What's going on with Cam Heyward? I thought everyone was cool, man. I thought after the TJ contract extension was done, everyone was happy. Everyone was on the same page. It's all about the 2025 Steelers. But now Cam wants a new deal. And so does Chris Boswell. Let's start with Cam. Adam Schefter says, with little fanfare, Steelers four-time All-Pro defensive tackle Cameron Heyward hasn't fully participated in practice yet this summer as he awaits a restructured contract that has not gotten done, per sources. Heyward is scheduled to make $14.75 million this season, with $13.45 million of that already having been earned as a roster bonus in March. Heyward is seeking a raise in a defensive market that has experienced a reset this offseason. Heyward and the Steelers have addressed this privately, but have not made any progress on a rework deal, per sources. I'm seeing the reaction to this, and it seems like most are against Cam. A lot of people are pissed off at Cam for him handling it this way, which I could see, because I think the timing's absolutely terrible. But I'm also kind of with Cam here. I think it would have been better if he just would have been upfront about it from the start of the offseason, that he was looking for more money, and if he was going the TJ route and making it clear and obvious, because that's the one thing you could say about TJ. It's like he has 1 year left on his deal. He's making it clear and obvious to us that he wants an extension. He wants to get paid. He's not showing up for some of the mandatory stuff, the OTAs. But with Cam, now it's mixed signals, because when he was reacting to the Rodgers stuff, he's like, I'm not trying to recruit you, man. Like, it's either you want to be a Steeler or you don't want to be here. Like, that's what it's all about. And then he showed up to all the offseason stuff, right? And it just, you didn't get word that Cam was unhappy about his contract at all. But now, all of a sudden, everything's in place. Rodgers is here. We made all of our big acquisitions. TJ got his contract. We're thinking it's all quiet on the Western Front at Latrobe. Everything's fine. All in 2025 Super Bowl. Everyone's team first. No one's got to worry about money. No one's got to worry about contracts. Everything's set. And then this, out of nowhere, right as we're about to start our first preseason game. That's my other thing. Why wasn't this reported on at all? Because it's not like training camp just started. People that have been to training camp, haven't they seen Heyward practice in a limited fashion? I don't know. It's just weird. Very, very weird. But yeah, if it wasn't for the timing, I feel like maybe Cam could have been more upfront about it. I'm kind of on Cam's side. I get what he's saying. Because if you look at what all these other defensive linemen are getting paid ahead of Cam, Cam's better than all of them. Cam's still one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league. Proved that last year. We had our questions after the year prior. He arguably had his worst year as a Steeler. He was banged up, and he wanted that extension. He wanted that 3-year deal. This was last offseason. And we're saying to ourselves, man, I don't know if we could give a 3-year extension and still have you paid as one of the top defensive linemen in the league, just because you're in your mid-30s, you're coming off your worst year. How's this going to play out? How are you going to age? Now, he proved everyone wrong last year, and even with him signing the extension, he was still getting underpaid, because that's the thing, that the extension he ultimately signed was still very team friendly. Whenever we first looked at it, we're like, man, he's only getting a little bit of a pay raise. It's like $16 per year. There's still a lot of guys ahead of him that are worse than him that are getting paid more. So this is a good move for the Steelers. This is a nice contract for the Steelers. I guess it gives Cam a little bit more security, and it gives him a little bit of a pay raise. But ultimately, I thought the Steelers won on that extension. And then Cam outplayed the extension and is like, hey, can we do something about this? So I don't blame Cam. Timing's bad. Because his deal right now, like Milton Williams, he got that mega deal to sign with the Patriots 26 per year. Cam Heyward's still better than Milton Williams. A bunch of these guys that are getting paid more than Cam's still better than. And so if we're just talking at least for this year and trying to get him a pay raise, trying to move this money around from next year to this year, make it more guaranteed, I think Cam is perfectly warranted in wanting that. Zach Allen with the Broncos, $25.5 million. Now, some of these guys are more in their prime age-wise and stuff like that. These are longer-term deals. But if Cam just wants a little bump, maybe gets him to 18, 19, 20 million for this year, I wouldn't blame him. So I don't blame him for that. I think the timing's bad, though. And I don't blame the Steelers for not just automatically giving him whatever he wants, because you got to have a backbone. You have to set some precedent with this. Just because a guy wants a new deal, you're not just going to hand it out like it's nothing. And we're kind of dealing with that with Chris Boswell as well. It's not just Cam Heyward, because Adam Schefter quote tweeted this one and said it's not just Cam Heyward. Chris Boswell is looking for a new deal too. And the Boswell one is warranted. And both guys, that's the other thing. It's both guys. This is a little bit unique because they have 2 years left on their deal and they're looking for new contracts. It's typically you have 1 year left. That's when it's appropriate to be looking for that extension, and that's when the Steelers do business. That's how they operate. This is a little bit outside of that realm, but Mark Caboli brought up an example in the past where AB had a couple years left, but the Steelers did some workarounds where it wasn't like a full extension, but AB got a pay raise for the year that was coming up. So Steelers can do it. I think ultimately with Cam, with Boswell, these will get done because both Cam and Boswell are right in wanting more money. I mean, Boswell's the best kicker in the league, and he's getting paid like he's the 10th or 11th. And I think it's after this year his money really isn't guaranteed like that. So in practice, I guess in reality it is kind of only a 1-year deal for Bos. Even though, and same with Cam, I think it's, that last year, it's like he could be cut and Steelers wouldn't really have many cap ramifications, and same with Boswell. So it's 2 years on paper, really just 1-year deal for both of these guys with how the money's situated, or at least the guaranteed money's situated. So that's why they're right in wanting more money or just wanting more security, just something. Like, let's rework this contract, make it more appropriate for the play that I've been giving you. And Boswell, it feels like a little bit more simple than Cam Heyward because with how kickers are getting paid. For him, he just needs he's getting paid $5 million per year. He just needs $1.5 million pay bump to become the highest paid kicker in the league. And the portion of that contract number and how it's up against the cap is way less than a position player like Cam Heyward or like a TJ Watt. I mean, what Boz is, if we bump him up to that $6 million range, how much of the cap is that taking up? It goes from being 1.5% to 2.5% of the cap. So not a big deal. I think that might be easier to do. Although with Boswell, he's probably looking for a 4 or 5 year deal. So maybe it actually would be a little bit more complicated than Cam's, because Cam's days are numbered with him getting up there in age and him being closer and closer to retirement. But again, still playing really well, still playing at a high level, still a guy that we need on this team if we are all in for 2025. So Cam does have some leverage in this. But it's just weird. The timing's very weird. Not the biggest fan of it, but I don't blame him. And in a way, I probably got to give benefit of the doubt to both Cam and Boswell with the weird timing, in that it seems based off these reports, they have been trying to handle this behind closed doors. It's just that a new deal hasn't been done. They've been trying to be as professional as possible. Cam's doing the hold in. I guess with Bos, you can't really do a hold in or anything like that. But they've been trying to, get this thing done and not bring much fanfare to it, not bring much drama to it. But now we're a month away from the season starting, and maybe they felt like some information needed to get out there to the people as a negotiation tactic. And how much will that help or hurt Boswell or Cam's case here? We'll find out. But that's where we're at with that. A little disappointing, given it felt like the status of the team right now, and that everyone was happy. Everyone was all in the same accord. Is what it is, though, man. Is what it is. Nothing we haven't seen before. Nothing that can't get squared away over the course of the next several days or weeks, and then we're back to where we were. You know what I mean? Just a little blip on the radar. Just a little speed bump. That's all. In the Steelers' quest for 7 here. A couple more things. Don't really need to go over this too much. It happened a couple days ago. A couple signings. Yeah, I'm sorry. Been away for a couple days. Was on a bender. Celebrated my birthday. Is what it is. We're back. Steelers season starting today. We're going on a run. We got all the momentum we need. It's time. Locked in. All right. Just needed those couple days. Like I said, it was my birthday. I think you guys understand. But now we're here. We're here. So I'm a little late on the Cam news and the Boswell news. Probably could have done something yesterday for that. But wanted to at least get a video on that stuff out. These other couple things, a little bit more late. I'm just going to briefly go over, maybe give a quick reaction. Andrus Peat we signed, who is a 3-time Pro Bowl offensive lineman. Played most of his seasons with the Saints. Spent last year with the Raiders. He's versatile in that he can play left tackle, but that's not the spot that got him the Pro Bowls. He had to switch over to guard with the Saints when it became apparent he was struggling early on at left tackle. So he became a Pro Bowl guard for the Saints. And then I think it was when the Saints drafted Trevor Penning. You remember that draft? To be their starting left tackle. And he struggled. They moved Peat back to left tackle and actually did all right. Did better than what he did early on in his career. And then he was with the Raiders last year, just more as a depth guy. So he's going to turn 32 years old. I mean, his best days are behind him. But in terms of just a piece to this offensive line, a depth piece who could play both guard and left tackle, then I like the move. I mean, I don't think anyone can complain about this move. Former first-round pick. Yeah, this is something that was actually kind of low-key needed. We have our starters in place for the offensive line, but our depth could use some work. I like Ryan McCollum. Dylan Cook, he's a buzzy name, but yeah, adding an Andrus Peat, that at least levels up our depth. I do like that. No matter what, I think we're hurting if Peat has to start on the left side at left tackle, because that means Broderick's been getting cooked, and yeah, we're in a bad spot. But if Broderick goes down with injury or something for a game or two, yeah, Andrus Peat might be able to get us out of a stadium and give us some professional play. We also signed Logan Woodside, who's a quarterback, journeyman quarterback, was on Tennessee's roster with Arthur Smith, Falcons roster with Arthur Smith. So he knows the system, and obviously with Will Howard getting injured, we may need another guy in there just to get reps in training camp and whatnot. So that's all this signing is. Woodside's not going to be making the roster. I don't even know if we'll keep him around for practice squad or anything like that. Yeah, this is just a camp signing for a camp arm. Knows Arthur Smith's system. Can maybe help out with some concepts and stuff in the quarterback room. Pass on a little bit of information here or there. But in terms of actually playing, actually making the roster, not happening. But that's it for tonight's game. I'm thinking I'm just going live after. Do a live post game. Unless you guys can convince me otherwise that I should go live during the game. Even though it's just preseason and, Rodgers ain't playing, DK. There's a lot of big-name players not playing. But if you think people will be showing up, you guys are going to be there, it's going to be a vibe, you guys got to let me know. You guys got to convince me. Get the video up to like 750 likes before game time. If you could do that, I'll go live for the whole game. If not, doesn't seem like the market was there for it then. That's all. And I'll go live after. We'll do a live post game though at least, because I think that'll be good too. That'll be fine. But that's it. I will see you at some point tonight. We're definitely dropping some content tonight. Reaction to this preseason game, or maybe live during the preseason game. The like numbers will determine that on this video. But stay chilling. Peace.